points for.
All right.
Okay, now I'm recording it. Okay, tonight we want to talk about segment 2 on education and segment 3 on the I want to know segment. But first, I want to tell you what's happened here with regard to our district newsletter this past week. The district newsletter, before we can send it out, has to be approved by national. Well, there was an article in the newsletter that was written by former General Michael Flynn, and the content of the article was perfectly fine. That was not questioned by national, but what was questioned was General Flynn, and claiming that he was a controversial figure. And they asked us to pull that article from the newsletter in order for it to be approved. So that led to a friendly discussion on what are we supposed to do? What can we publish? What can't we publish? And this all goes back to the position, because we are a nonprofit organization. If we get off track from the COS mission, if we get off track, we run the risk of jeopardizing our nonprofit status. And of course, as you know, in the administration that's in there right now, they would probably love to find something that they could use against Convention of States. So we're pulling that article. Now, as I said, along with this discussion, I mentioned our roundtable meetings, and that we were contemplating doing a segment in our upcoming roundtable meeting on critical race theory. Well, I was told, you might want to think about that. You better prepare an outline of what you're going to be doing and saying, and you better run that up the poll and see if national is going to approve of this. So, we can do that. Do you understand what's being said to us here? Do you?
Yep.
Yes. Shut up and put up with it.
Well, I'm saying, and I've told this to them. I now tell you who the person that relayed this to me was Brenda Carlin, our new Past States regional director, and she's just passing the message on to us. She's just a messenger here, although I'm certainly understands. But I think this is a gray area. This has been a consistent gray area in Convention of States ever since I've been in it, and that is, what can we do? What can we say? What can we do? What limitations do we have? What can we talk about things that we think relate to Convention of States, but Convention of States really hasn't taken a position on this issue officially. And when are we using Convention of States resources, and when can't we use Convention of State resources? So
if we could talk about critical race theory in the context of what COS can do about it, that would be okay. But just discussing the pros or cons of critical race theory is a no-no. Is that
No,
what you're saying?
it's just the opposite, George.
Yeah.
We could talk as individuals about critical race theory. We can't talk as individuals on a COS roundtable call, because we're using Convention of States resources. But we can talk
Why is
about
that different?
we can talk about critical race theory as individuals, but we can't talk about it from the standpoint of Convention of States having a position on this.
I think critical race theory can be seen as a kind of having a partisan divide, and therefore, even though it's not explicitly political, it sort of is implicitly political, and they want us to steer away from things like that. Let me ask you a question, Dale. Just had a conversation with one of the region captains who plans to talk about the way God has been taking out of our culture, society, government, everything. And the idea was to mention that this was first decision. There was 9.
Why is that different than COS talking about Second Amendment rights? Or
Hold on. Go ahead, Gary. Finish.
Well, she was planning on mentioning there were 9 Democrat justices on the Supreme Court, and I said, well, I'm not sure we should mention their political party, and I don't know what your thought on that.
Where is this being discussed?
This is the segment, region captain segment on the upcoming roundtable. One of the region captains, some of her talking points was to talk about how, one of the motivations for her is to push back on the idea of God being taken out of society.
Well, I think this is where we need some more guidance. I mean, I think that's a personally. I think that's a very legitimate issue. Now, can we talk about that on a Convention of States call? Because that's not something Convention of States officially has a position on, right?
I don't think it's a problem as long as we don't say that there were 9 Democrat justices that made the decision. We just say this was a Supreme Court decision that said, you can't have prayer in public schools. And we don't mention, the political affiliation of the justices themselves or the president who appointed them, then I don't think that would be a problem. That's would be my impression. I don't know. You might see what Brenda thinks, but.
Well, see, I think we are going to have to find out about that.
Talking about religion is anti-CRT. So if we can't talk about CRT, then we can't talk about stuff against CRT. And that's why our whole discussion is, because it's critical racist theory and it's Marxism. And if we're not allowed to talk about that, then we're not allowed to talk about religion. All we can do is advertise for people to stand with Convention of States to make a difference, but we're not allowed to talk about anything.
Well, it's something that we need to have clarified more. I guess what I'm leading up to here is, I think our segment 3 on I Want to Know. We renamed segment 3 I Want to Know About, based on John's recommendation. I think that's a good recommendation. I think we're going to have to stick to Convention of States issues. I don't think we're going to be able to get into critical race theory this time around until we can get further clarification. Okay.
So Dale, by Convention of States issues, are you talking about just term limits, balanced budget, and limited government?
Right.
The three things that we can
Right.
talk about.
Article 5, the Constitution, certainly, but Article 5, the resolution, the national debt, the overreach of the federal government, term limits, yep, those types of topics and issues.
Well, I can certainly understand that we want to and need to protect our tax exempt status. And I can certainly understand that we are one state out of 50 of a national organization, and we're representing the national organization, and we need to follow, you know, their directives and guidelines. And so, you know, we may be able to find a way to talk about critical race theory at some point in the future, but I think for this month's roundtable, I think we just better go with some frequently asked questions, some objections to the Convention of States, you know, things like that I dug up on the conventionofstates.com website, and it'd be pretty easy to put together a 10, 12-minute roundtable on some of these FAQs, and just wait to see what comes out of the deliberations about talking about CRT.
Yeah. Okay.
I think we might be waiting quite a while.
We might. Now, there might be some clever ways for us to wiggle some things in. You know, while we're talking about something legitimate, somebody might say, well, that reminds me of a current issue of schools that are teaching this thing called critical race theory. And, you know, we could sneak in an ace or two.
You know, it might be a good idea, John, if, you know, when you start that segment, to say the opinions expressed here are not necessarily those of Convention of States or something like that.
Well,
that's something that came up, and I believe that you know, we were told, as far as the newsletter was concerned, we were told to put up a disclaimer. So a disclaimer run at the beginning of the program was my solution. At least I see it as a solution.
I like that.
Well, that is a I believe that may be a possible partial answer here. We're still utilizing, this is a Convention of States function, a Convention of States event, and I don't know if giving a disclaimer excuses us from that. Do you see what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying, but what if the topic is federal overreach?
Yeah.
Floor's wide open then, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier.
Say that again. Well, was that you, George?
I think George is frozen.
He froze on us.
That's what I was trying.
We're losing you, George.
That's what I was trying to point out.
Okay, well, one thing I can think of with federal overreach is that, you know, the Biden administration is proposing offering money to schools that will teach critical race theory. That's an example of federal overreach.
Sure is.
Reaching out into local school systems, because education should be controlled on the local level, not the federal level.
Mm-hmm. Or how about if we if you just took the Department of Education as a subject for federal overreach?
Yeah.
I mean, you've got now your education brings in all of that. Well, what are we talking? What's being taught in education? Well, oddly enough, critical race theory. Okay, I don't see how you get around it. And again, disclaimers and maybe and just sticking to what we're all about, which is federal overreach, term limits, fiscal responsibility. I think all that falls under that. I know it's it's a tough spot, and I there's, you know, emotions are riding on this a little bit to the certain extent that, you know, this is what's driving people to even want to know more about Convention of States. So if we just get on here and just talk about, you know, if we just run down a basic program which could be shown on our website, as far as a roundtable is concerned, I don't think we're having a roundtable anymore. Because you are opening yourself up to people from different points of view. At least that was our hope and our plan. But I don't know. We're walking a really fine line, and as I said before, you know, we're kind of walking on eggshells.
Yeah, so I'm thinking that if we want to pursue CRT, we'll need to find more examples of federal overreach into the local schools. And, you know, just the fact that there is a Department of Education is a real good example, because it is not one of the enumerated powers of Congress.
Exactly.
Nowhere in there does it say Congress is authorized to establish such a thing.
And it's all about the money.
Yeah.
The federal overreach item on our resolution really pertained to the General Welfare Clause and the Commerce Clause.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Now, obviously, a lot's been done, and the definition of those two clauses have been stretched a great deal. I don't know if critical race theory fits into any of that.
But I think that you could make the point that the idea is Department of Education is not really constitutional. And as an example of the problem, once you get this department, it can go do crazy things like, hey, teaching critical race theory that is trying to divide Americans against each other. And, you know, maybe national would think that goes too far, but I think that's a pretty legitimate argument to make without making CRT the issue, but it's one aspect of a bigger issue.
Yeah.
Well, and it's also one that's come out I mean, Dale, I get your point on what you're talking about, but all this stuff is happening now, you know, far along down the road from some of that original, like you said, what's in there as far as federal overreach is concerned. But it's a perfect example of how far we've gone in such a short time. And if you don't talk about this now, how much more slides under the table? I don't know. You know, it's difficult. Like I said, it's a fine line.
Another potential solution is to have COS take an official position on critical race theory. Then it becomes, you know,
well, that's a good point.
Yeah.
It was mentioned to me that now that if there was a call to action on that issue, then we could talk about it. Well, I bounced that off of Paul, and neither one of us are aware that a call to action can be requested on an issue like this. We thought a call to action was to be utilized on a piece of legislation, potential legislation, or something, or you know, a bill that's in process of being approved, like we did earlier this year. So I need to get further clarification on that. I mean, you know, can we request a call to action on critical race theory or whatever topic we want to talk about? I don't know how that works, if that's even possible. If it is possible some way, then we would be, and it was approved, then, you know, it would be part of it would be something we could talk about as COS. So I don't know. I guess for right now, we need to start focusing on segment 3 and try to structure it based on you know, like I said, based on our basic mission. Now you got to remember now, you know, we're trying to target people, hopefully people that don't know much about convention of states, that are, you know, just interested in knowing more about convention of states. So telling them about the basics of convention of states could in fact be the kind of information they're after. I would think.
You know, what if we just, the third segment, what if we like renamed it to tell me about, or I want to know about why we need limited government? You know, don't make it, you know, critical race theory, what is it and what we can do about it, but tell me about why we need limited government. And then that would be the focus. And then in that segment, then people could bring up examples of why we need limited government. And critical race theory might be one of those, or it might be half a dozen other things that come up.
Yeah.
Or tell me about why we need balanced budget, or tell me why we need term limits. You know, maybe that'd be a way to get where we're not directly addressing these controversial issues.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. I need some more time to get some further clarification on this. But I think we need to somehow, guys, we need to plan to do something here. We can't wait until the night before the roundtable to try and put this together.
Yeah, so if you want me to, I'll put together some questions and answers from the COS website, and we'll go with something like that to start with for the June roundtable, and we'll just give you some time to dig stuff out on this other thing.
Okay. Okay. Now, okay, tonight we were supposed to have the education segment video done and for us to view. From what I understand here, Richard has submitted 2 videos to Ken. Have you found the other one, Ken?
No, I don't. Richard, if you're on, if you could send me another one. There was a glitch and something happened in the first one, and I need the first one over again. If you can send that, we could actually get that up today, to at least for, you know.
Richard, is that something you can
well,
send?
You know, the Biden one's going to have to be scrubbed because it does talk about critical race theory. It does talk about COVID. It does talk about, you know, how our government is turning Marxist. And if we can't put that out in the newsletter, well, we can't put it out for education. And then the whole deal with the other videos, the final one was just a closing pitch of, well, because of Uncle Mumbles and all his nonsense and rhetoric, and that's why there's a need for, you know, convention of states, because individuals need to be educated and activated in order to self-govern.
Yeah.
So, you know, and the other thing is, I'm thinking, as we're all talking about this, the amount of time we have for each segment, because we're getting kiboshed, we're probably going to have to shorten each segment. If it's just going to be mainly about, you know, Article 5 Convention of States and everything that we're trying to do without talking about why we're trying to do it in detail. So it's garbage.
All right. All right. I can
put a 5-minute video together and explain the mission statement of Convention of States University, why people need to gain the knowledge in order to, you know understand and know, and maybe teach others to become activists, because with knowing that type of information, that helps them to be active in their local, state, and in the federal government. But, you know, that's not going to eat up like 10 minutes of time without going into, I mean, our current events between the CRT, the social emotional learning, I mean, we've got Black Lives Matter and Latin Kings teaching in South Bend. In the state of Indiana, we just gave, what, $7.2 million to the Boys and Girls Club so they could teach reading, writing, and arithmetic, because we spend $10,000 per student in public education. And what do we have? I mean, can we talk about any of that at our roundtable?
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys are even familiar with that, but did you know that that happened?
No. All right.
Well,
right.
Last weekend you guys had cross-dressers reading at your library there in Fort Wayne. What was it? The LGBT, because it's LGBTQ Awareness Month. You had drag queen library time at the libraries in Fort Wayne.
Yeah.
We can't talk about that either, can we? That's part of the whole SEL.
The thing is, we as individuals we can talk about that stuff, but we can't talk about it from the standpoint of convention of states. Okay. All right. Okay. Here's what I'm going to do. Richard, I'm going to let you off the hook here on coming up with something, because we're not able to give you some clear direction here. We got a plan B worked out. Paul and I are going to do this, and we'll make so. Paul and I will handle segment 2, and you don't have to work with it right this time until we can get some further clarification on this. But in the meantime, John, will you work on getting us set up for segment 3?
Yep.
And well, I don't know anything else we can do tonight until we get that set up for segment 3. Okay.
Yep. Sounds like a good plan to me.
Well,
I don't like getting thrown a curveball, but
I don't either.
Got to deal with it.
I don't either. But
we've all been throwing one big one here, so
just and there's that's not Lurch. I know that's not Lurch.
This is the den mother.
The den.
And I'm trying to tell you guys, listen, John may not do the frequently asked questions because he's a controversial figure.
I am.
That's a good point.
What's controversial about me? I'm just a big teddy bear.
That they said Flynn was controversial. It's not what he said. It was that Flynn was controversial. And Ken and Susan said, well, okay, well, give us a list of all the controversial people so that we can avoid them.
Good.
And well, they didn't have a list. Well, I went on Citizen Builder, and there's a list. It's Sean Hannity, it's Mark Levin, it's every celebrity that has endorsed Convention of States would be on that list, because every one of them's controversial.
Yep.
I think you even included Mark Meckler, didn't you?
Yeah, you might as well.
Meckler's controversial.
Put him in there too. He's certainly controversial.
He rescued Parler, Yeah.
Well, we weren't supposed to mention that. That got cut out of a newsletter too.
So that's how murky this is getting to be, and I think I do understand what Convention of States is trying to do, but it's not getting delivered right. We're not understanding. And believe me, guys, I don't want Indiana to be responsible for Convention of States losing its nonprofit status. I certainly don't want Indiana to be anywhere resplug for that.
So, I agree, Dale, and I know what we have to do here. I know we have to swallow hard and plug on, but I think at some point, Convention of States is going to meet up with some of this stuff square on.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is a good illustration of why the 16th Amendment should be repealed. We should not have an income tax because it allows the government to control speech by saying, hey, you want a tax exempt status? You can't talk about things.
Yep. It gets complicated that way, but yeah, I mean, you're exactly right. And again, we're forced to walk that tightrope.
And I think nationally, there's just a lot of fear these days. You know, if you say the least little thing out of order, you're going to get a ton of bad publicity. And maybe national is just walking on those eggshells, you know.
It's true, John, but I mean, as Susan has brought up a number of times in our discussions, are we fearful of censorship? Because I mean, I know the overriding issue is obviously the tax status, but and that's big enough in itself, but in a way, we're being censored.
Yeah, that's one way to look at it for sure. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
If it's not Facebook, it's,
being censored by our own mother organization.
In a way. Hate to say it, but that's kind of how I feel.
I hear you. You pour your heart and life into this and give untold volunteer hours, and then you get crushed.
I mentioned this to Dale the other day. We were talking about this. I had a gentleman that came to my house to pick up some tapes that I had transferred for him, and he happened to be an Army vet. And our discussion when we were just talking in general, and I found out he was he had served 23 years in the Army. I thanked him for his service, and we talked a little bit about. They brought up the mistreatment of vets, and that led into. It opened up the whole can of worms. CRT, you name the issues we're talking about here. Every one of them came up. And you know what? I asked him after. I said, I'm part of an organization. I'm not sure whether you've heard of it, called Convention of States. He said, I've signed the petition. I said, wonderful. He said, and I think I'm ready to get more involved. How do I do that? Go to the website, fill out an application. I'm more happy to have you on there, Lieutenant or Sergeant, I think he was. Happy to have you aboard. So those conversations, those hot topics, all led to Convention of States conversation. And here was a guy that, hey, I'm ready to get more involved. Why? Because of the hot topics.
Yeah.
Not because of Article 5. I'm sorry. I mentioned Article 5 to some people, and you get that deer in the headlights look. What is that? Well, okay, you explain it, and then it's like, oh, okay. Yeah, I'll sign it, but,
current events are definitely
you lose some
driving.
of that emotion and that passion. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
But again, Article 5 is a basic to Convention of States.
I know.
And that's part of the education process is to educate people on Article 5.
Agreed. But how do you get them to the round table, Dale? How do you get them to the round table? Do you put up hey, we're having a meeting on the Constitution tonight. You tell me. I have two conference halls. One is talk on the Constitution. The other one is CRT. Which hall is going to get filled? You tell me.
Yeah.
That's my point.
Yep.
But see, you gotta fill the Article 5 hall. That's why you get the big bucks that you get. See.
Well, the thing is, I channel them into the CRT convention, and then we have donuts over in Article 5 convention, and they all go over there after lunch.
Oh my! I tell you.
Well, I got this all from our other controversial figure, and that's George. So
I see George and Richard have dropped off here.
I knew I was going to talk about him.
Yeah. So anyway, once Richard, you're not on here. I'm sorry to do this, bud, but I think we better hold you off until another time. So I wish we could have gotten further. I wish we could have gotten further along tonight, but it doesn't appear that we're going to get further along. There's George back again.
Hi,
George, you keep coming and going. What's up? Now you're muted. There you go.
Yeah, Verizon. It's been like this for like a month now.
Wow.
My Cable Master, Toastmaster things are all getting all garbled and stuff. Then I got to give a speech next Thursday. I'm gonna have to call in and get my speech over the phone. So, but yeah, I don't know what it is.
A couple things that I do want to mention. Try and get used to using your headphones on this call, on using this StreamYard. It's something that my coach reminded me of again. I've been very lax on using them, but I think that's probably maybe been causing some of our echo issues. So be sure and use your headphones. Also, we talked about in segment 3, we talked about how we were going to put up questions. And obviously, if we in fact do have viewers that ask questions, I can put their questions up from the comment section. But we were correct. You got to be a viewer to submit a comment. So if we do have viewers with legitimate questions that will fit into what we're trying to do, I can put those up here. But if we wanted to insert fake or canned questions,
Ringers, you mean?
Ringers, then we're going to have to do that as a banner. So let's say we need to insert a canned question, and we would say, well, Dave submitted this question to us. He wants to know about blah 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 blah. So that's how we would handle that. Now I would have to have these banners prepared ahead of time, obviously, and we would have to know when we want to use one of these. But that's how we would insert a question of that type. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And Dale, I think that using that banner would be very helpful to label each topic that I introduce in the question and answer I want to know section. We just put that question up on the banner while the group here is discussing it, and then after a couple minutes we'll go to the next question.
Okay. All right.
I like it.
Now
I like visuals. Yep.
Who was someone asking a question?
Yeah, Dale, that was right here. So while Susan and I are watching Facebook and YouTube, I guess I'll just join the meeting like any other viewer. I don't need to be in the waiting room. I just join like any other viewer, and then I can post the question to the chat, and then John would see it. Is that the best way to do that? Or
I like that idea. Yeah. Yeah. What you're saying is, if any questions come on YouTube or Facebook, you would post those questions in this meeting, so I'd see it in the chat.
Right.
Yeah.
Actually, Rick, I think I'm going to be the only one that can post those questions.
Well, yeah, you'd be the one to post it. Yeah.
As the host.
Yeah.
Well, on the banner, but I mean in the chat, so John would see it and you see it too.
Even in the comment section.
Oh, really? Okay.
I think I would be the only one that could post that comment on this screen.
Yeah.
So you would
be fine. We'd all see it, but you could post it.
You would have to. We'll have to figure out a way for you to communicate to me which question I should post, or which comment I should post on here. And I'm not sure how we would do that. Maybe text message on a phone or something like that.
I could certainly do that, but I haven't been to one of your Monday night broadcasts since you got the new software. But I know before that we would follow your link, and then we could put in the chat that, hey, Rick and Susan are with you tonight or whatever, and then that's when you would you normally like read the comments and stuff. Does that work the same way here?
Yeah, it works the same way. I would see your comment over here in the comment section. Can you see the comment section?
Yeah, I see it now. It says I got to chat with the host and other guests here. So, but that's I'm also in the waiting room right now, or in the room itself. But if I'm just a viewer, because I think when we have the roundtable, I won't actually be in the room with you guys. I'll be just viewing like anybody else would.
Right.
Right. Okay. So then we would watch YouTube and Facebook to see if somebody submitted a question or a comment. Then I would take that and type it into the comments section and post it, and then you and John would see it, and then you could make a banner if you want, or John could ask it or whatever. So I just want to make sure I'm understanding.
Well, why wouldn't that if someone posted a comment, be it Facebook or YouTube, that's going to automatically show up here on the comments, isn't it? You're not going to have to input it.
Oh, okay. I thought I would.
I don't think so.
Well, that's pretty slick if it works that way, for sure.
We need to maybe we actually need to do a live broadcast at some point in time here, which we could do that.
Can you do it now? Can you stream this to Facebook?
No, I've already.
Oh, you're going past that.
I've already got it into a record
okay.
A mode now, but
like you say,
we can, Rick. We can test that. Just you and I. We can test that and sometime and see how. Let's do that. Let's you and I arrange a time when we'll just do a test broadcast and
okay.
We'll figure that out. Okay.
All right. And then the other question I have is the link that we want to send out for people to attend. I know the Facebook link and I know the YouTube link, but this link that you emailed us tonight, is that the one that we should send to people to actually view the meeting here? Or is that just for people to join into the meeting?
That's strictly for the guests that will be involved in the meeting.
Okay, so I won't send that out. That's kind of what I thought there. But
yeah, no, that's not to be sent out to the general public. They will have to go on our Facebook page or our YouTube channel.
Okay, gotcha. All right. I just want to make sure I knew that, or
yeah.
What I was doing there. Oh.
Okay. All right. Anything else?
The closing video, did that work out for you?
Where's this closing video?
The Mark Meckler video I sent you in the Slack.
On COS University?
No, the one we're talking about, having a closing video before John gives the closing, and I sent you that link to the one with Mark Meckler.
I'm sorry, I did. Where did
you responded back that you liked it, so.
Huh?
You responded back that you liked it.
I did. I? Okay, what did I do with that? I'm sorry.
Well, I guess my question was just if that one's okay. So if it is, it's fine. So.
Yeah, we'll use it. We'll factor it in.
Okay.
I gotta make sure that I remember all these things, all these videos and everything to load into the program. But that's why we do rehearsals, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So our next meeting is next Friday, the 18th, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And I think between now and then, Rick, you and I will have to get together some evening or sometime and test out this comment section here.
All right. Anytime other than Wednesday evening, I'm good.
Okay. All right. Okay. Anybody got anything else?
Nope.
Sorry for the curveballs. It's all Ken's fault. He's the one that started this whole thing.
That's life.
I'll take it.
Yeah, but John's controversial, so.
That's my middle name, buddy.
I'll tell you, John, John's journal. You know, John, maybe I need to get approval, see if it's okay to play your segments on John's journal.
Well, I've been going far afield. It's not all about Convention of States, is it?
No, it's not. Maybe we need a disclaimer on that, huh? I don't know. John's John just did one on immigration, and I'm going to utilize that one. I thought that was really good. But
if National happens to watch it, and if they catch us and slap our hand, we'll know.
Yeah.
That we did a boo-boo. And we can say, "Oops, sorry."
Yeah. What is it? It's easier to beg for forgiveness, or what's that saying?
It's easier to ask for forgiveness than it is to ask for permission.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what it is. Okay.
I mean, you know, if you make an honest mistake, what can they say?
Yeah.
You know, this is kind of a, I don't know whether to ask this, but you know, what does Mark Meckler talk about in his videos?
Oh, nothing at all controversial. Nothing at all controversial.
I'm pretty sure up there at Michigan, he was talking. I know they called that governor up there. They called her a dictator.
Really?
What's her name? Can't remember what it is, but
Whitmer?
Whitmer. He called her either him or that Steve Deuce called her Dictator Whitmer. Right there in the whole public and a loudspeaker that they probably heard downtown Lansing.
Didn't you ask Mark when you had him?
Yeah,
what we could talk about.
I guess I should ask Mark when he was there what we could talk about.
All right, guys. Thank you very much.
See y'all. Have a good week.
See you in a week.
See you in a week.
Bye-bye.
Good night.